You are lying to the person you love most. You did it today, you probably did it yesterday, and you will absolutely do it tomorrow. We like to believe that deception is a weapon we use against our enemies, but psychological data reveals a terrifying reality. The closer you are to someone, the more complex, deep, and frequent your lies become. Why is your brain wired to deceive the person sleeping right next to you? What if complete honesty is actually the fastest way to destroy your relationship? And are the lies you tell them really protecting them? Or are they a psychological defense mechanism hiding a much darker truth about yourself? To understand why we deceive our partners, we first have to shatter a massive psychological illusion. Most people believe lying requires malicious intent. You picture a villain, a scammer, or a manipulator. But human behavior doesn't work like that. Psychologists call our everyday relationship lies prosocial deception. These are the lies we tell to keep the peace. I'm not mad. I love your family. I didn't see that message until just now. On the surface, these seem harmless. We tell ourselves we are protecting our partner's feelings. But this is where your brain is playing a brilliant trick on you. It's a cognitive bias known as the altruistic alibi. When you tell a prosocial lie, you convince yourself you are acting out of love. You are being the hero, saving your partner from unnecessary pain. But studies in behavioral psychology show something entirely different. You aren't protecting them. You are protecting yourself. You are avoiding the discomfort of a difficult conversation. You are dodging a multi-hour argument. You are protecting your own emotional energy. Your brain frames the lie as an act of love, when in reality, it is a calculated act of emotional self-preservation. You might be thinking, well, everyone tells small lies to keep the peace. That doesn't mean I'm a deceptive person. Let's look at the numbers. In a landmark psychological experiment, researcher Bella DiPolo asked people to carry a diary and record every single lie they told for a week. The results completely flipped our understanding of human trust. People lied in about 1 in 5 of their daily social interactions. But the fascinating part wasn't how much they lied. It was who they lied to. When participants interacted with strangers or co-workers, they told self-serving lies. They lied to look smarter, wealthier, or more competent. But with their spouses and romantic partners, the pattern changed entirely. With intimate partners, the everyday, casual lies actually decreased. But here is the catch that changes everything. While the number of lies dropped, the magnitude of the lies skyrocketed. Participants reserved their absolute biggest, most complex, and most deeply buried fabrications exclusively for the people they loved the most. Why? Because the stakes are higher. You don't need to construct a massive web of deceit for a barista you will never see again. But you will build a fortress of lies to protect the life you've built with your partner. So why is it so incredibly easy to lie to someone who knows you better than anyone else? Shouldn't they be the first to spot your deception? This brings us to a terrifying cognitive blind spot known as the truth bias. When we interact with strangers, our brains are naturally skeptical. We look for micro-expressions. We listen for sudden changes in vocal pitch. We are subconsciously scanning for threats. But intimacy disables your brain's threat detection system. When you love someone, your brain fundamentally assumes they are telling the truth. It takes significantly more cognitive energy for your partner to doubt you than it does to believe you. You know this intuitively. You know that because they love you, they are psychologically vulnerable to you. And your subconscious mind exploits this exact vulnerability every time you decide to hide the truth. But what happens inside your head when you exploit that trust? Neuroscience has mapped exactly what deception does to the human mind. The first time you tell a significant lie to your partner, an area of your brain called the amygdala lights up. This is your emotional processing center. It triggers a negative physical response. Your heart rate increases, your stomach drops, you feel intense, suffocating guilt. Your brain is punishing you for violating the social contract of your relationship. But here is the dangerous part. If you get away with that lie, the brain adapts. The next time you lie, the amygdala's response is slightly weaker. The guilt is a little less intense. By the 10th lie, the amygdala barely registers a reaction at all. This is called emotional adaptation. It is the exact same neurological process that builds physical tolerance to a drug. You literally become desensitized to your own deceit. This is why a devastating betrayal rarely starts as a massive lie. It starts as a tiny omission, a deleted text message, a slight exaggeration about where you were. The brain builds a tolerance to deceit, quietly paving the way for relationship-destroying secrets without ever triggering your internal alarms. But why do we start down this path in the first place? The answer lies in how human relationships actually begin. When you first meet someone you are deeply attracted to, you do not introduce them to your true self. You introduce them to your ideal self. You hide your deep insecurities. You suppress your annoying habits. You pretend to be more patient, more adventurous, and more emotionally stable than you actually are. This isn't malicious. It's a biological mating strategy. But as the relationship progresses into a long-term commitment, a dangerous psychological gap opens up. There is the person your partner fell in love with, the ideal self. And there is the real you, flawed, tired, and deeply imperfect. Every lie you tell in a relationship is simply a desperate attempt to bridge the gap between those two versions of yourself. You lie because you are absolutely terrified that if your partner sees the unfiltered, unedited truth of who you are, they will leave. You are deceiving them to keep the fantasy alive. To manage this deep-seated fear, the human brain has developed a brilliant psychological loophole. It's the difference between lies of commission and lies of omission. A lie of commission is actively stating something false, looking them in the eye and saying, "I was at the office," when you were actually somewhere else. Your brain hates lies of commission. They require massive cognitive effort to maintain. But a lie of omission? That is the human brain's favorite survival tool. A lie of omission is simply staying silent when the truth should be spoken. It is failing to mention that your ex reached out. It is hiding the true amount of financial debt you are in. It is pretending you are satisfied with your physical intimacy when you are actually quietly resentful. We convince ourselves that lies of omission aren't real lies. We tell ourselves, "I didn't technically say anything untrue." But psychologically, lies of omission are far more destructive. Because while a lie of commission is a single, isolated event, a lie of omission is a continuous, exhausting state of hiding. It builds an invisible wall between you and your partner. You are physically sitting in the exact same room, but psychologically, you are living in completely different realities. The fascinating part is that the specific way you build that wall is determined by how you experienced love as a child. Psychologists look at attachment theory to predict exactly how and why someone will deceive their partner. If you have an anxious attachment style, you are deeply afraid of abandonment. Your lies are usually people-pleasing lies. You lie about your boundaries. You agree to things you hate just to keep your partner happy. You suppress your own needs to avoid conflict. You are lying to maintain connection. But if you have an avoidant attachment style, you value independence above all else. Deep intimacy feels suffocating to you. Your lies are designed to create distance. You lie about where you are. You minimize your emotions. You keep secrets not because they are terrible, but simply to prove to yourself that you still have a private life your partner cannot access. You are lying to maintain control. Understanding your attachment style is like finding the source code for your personal brand of deception. So, what is the solution? If deception is this deeply woven into the fabric of our romantic lives, should we just stop? What happens if we practice radical honesty? In the 1990s, a psychologist named Dr. Brad Blanton popularized this exact concept. He argued that all lying is toxic, and couples should tell each other the unfiltered truth 100% of the time. Every fleeting attraction to a stranger, every minor annoyance, every dark, passing thought. But couples who attempt radical honesty almost always discover a brutal truth. The human mind is not designed to process the unfiltered reality of another person's internal world. Complete honesty often destroys the relationship entirely. It strips away the necessary illusions, the polite fictions, and the gentle buffers that make long-term cohabitation bearable. We demand the absolute truth from our partners, but psychologically, we cannot handle it. We want to be loved for exactly who we are, but we want our partners to be exactly who we need them to be. That contradiction is the birthplace of every lie in a relationship. Which brings us to the final, most unsettling truth about why we deceive the ones we love. When you lie to your partner, you think you are manipulating their perception of reality. But the ultimate victim of the deception is not them. It is you. Every time you hide a part of yourself to keep the peace, every time you omit a truth to maintain the ideal image, you are sending a subconscious message to your own brain. You are telling yourself, "Who I really am is not acceptable." The lies you tell to save your relationship are the exact same lies that make you feel utterly alone inside of it. You can build a perfect, conflict-free relationship based on careful omissions and prosocial lies. But you will spend the rest of your life wondering if they love you, or if they just love the carefully curated avatar you've presented to them. The most dangerous lies aren't the ones we tell the people we love. They are the lies we tell ourselves about why we had to deceive them in the first place. Think about the last significant thing you hid from someone you love. Were you really protecting them? Or were you just terrified of what would happen if they finally saw the real you? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I read every single one. If this video changed how you see your own mind, leave a like, subscribe to MENTRA, and keep exploring the hidden psychology of human behavior with us.